You know, I was just about to say how good the connection is with Bluetooth. Nah, I'm not so sure. Welcome to this review. I will call this one, if you're going to buy it, you're going to buy it anyway. This is Steam Controller 2026, 100 euros. Let's forget the price for right now, because of comparing it to Xbox controller at 60 euros and the PlayStation, which one sells for about 75, or maybe something completely different, aftermarket for that sells about 300 euros or 30 euros, depending on the brand. Point being, you're not probably trying to save money by skimping on some features, and you want instead the best. But is this? You know what, let's start with the positive, and the biggest plus, the touchpads. This is the go-to couch controller of the household, because even without Steam actually open, the touchpads actually already work. Which basically means with the help of on-screen keyboard, you can do everything with the controller itself. This includes everything from the login screen to the actual shutdown of the PC. Now, there are some strange occurrences where the controller touchpads or all the buttons just stop working for whatever reason, and the most obvious one and the strangest one is at the Steam login screen. You know, the one place you would actually need it. I'm guessing this has something to do with the Steam software taking over after the Microsoft software quits working on the touchpad. And I do really hope they actually fix this, as this is one of the few problems that I have found. And once you have logged in to your account, nothing yet, nothing yet. Nothing yet. What are you waiting for? Who is this? Who is using my network? Vadim. And you see? Yes. And Steam controller detected, everything working already fine. But it is a very small price to pay to finally leave your wireless mouse and keyboard for the couch in the dust. So overall that was a positive. But now let's talk about a downside. A specific one that applies to me exactly. And that is, unfortunately, the vibration. It is embarrassingly weak. The vibration feedback is one of the main reasons to actually even consider playing a PC game on a controller at all. That means you want to feel the feedback, the game from the touchpad, no, the vibration. But this, well, let me show you. This is a head-on collision 100 kilometers an hour for the Horizon 5, no, 6. Did not even hear it. Let me try it again, a bit closer this time. Check this out. One more time, even closer now. Yes, that is nothing. Which is fine for people who require a small vibration or a very mild or none at all, but coming from, let's say, the Xbox controller, this is not enough. And for comparison, this is the Xbox Series controller doing the same thing. I think you get the point. And this is the PS5 controller doing the same thing. Since vibration is a difficult thing to get on video, I will say this Xbox controller gets a strong 9 out of 10. This gets a 5, and this is a maybe a 2 or 3 out of 10. Since a weak vibration is almost universally a bad thing, I will say that a good box that a controller comes in is always a big plus. Look at that build quality. I mean, it's relatively the same as the first one, although I do like this one even better. Although made to look like you can throw something like this away on the first day, I do like to keep this and keep the controller in the box. You can put this on a shelf among your other things. And with a clear image and, let's say, advertisement on the sides, you will easily pick this up off the shelf and start playing right away. Compared to, let's say, a PlayStation or Xbox controller that you buy separately after getting the console, not to mention the actual console box that it comes in, you will throw away, obviously, and not keep the controller in if you're not using it. And not just the value of the box, but it looks completely unassuming. It just looks like it's something you would pick up from a hardware store. I mean, even the product itself, it's all matte plastic. It looks very boring, let's say. Ой, блин, I turned it on. But it's all functional. That's all it does. There is although one downside that I did not realize why they would not put this on the box. It is the description on how to connect with Bluetooth. So it's one of these buttons, I think the R1 and the Steam and the A or B. But, you know, add it on the side, like small sign. Sure, everybody knows how to use the plug and recharge, but, you know, somebody likes to use Bluetooth instead. I do realize this product, and I guess the box as well, is marketed to people that is everyone, you know, regardless of age or quality of professional game playing or amateur. I want to play Tetris all night. But I do appreciate that it is simple. So they kept the box simple, especially considering you will not actually buy this off the shelf, so it does not have to catch your eye. And that's a good thing. This basically means less money for, you know, packaging and advertisement. And as I say, hardware should be cheap, as cheap as the hardware it is. Everybody should have access. Next up, ergonomics. And as you can clearly see, well, they do not even compare. There is so much less room here to grip with your whole hand. You can fit maybe one finger below here. That is all. Although, yes, there is room to place your fingers here, and that's where you're supposed to go if you're, you know, clicking the back buttons, which is great. And the ergonomic positioning of your hands is supposed to be different compared to the other ones, because your thumbs are here or here, right? That's how it works. But then again, you're not really gripping the controller itself. You're just holding it on your fingers. This one, you're holding onto it. You can shake it around. This you are holding onto this. You are holding with one hand. This one, no. This, by the way, also means that if you need to hold it with one hand, you are going to click the back buttons by accident. And, you know, if you're playing a game that requires those, you're going to have a bad time. In short, I would say, compared to the other ones, or pretty much any other controller that they have used in the past century, this one feels more like you're playing on top of the controller instead of with the controller. This you're gripping, you're doing all the things. You can probably throw this even better, but this you're holding it on your hands and you're touching the things on top, if that makes any sense at all. Also, as good as these touchpads are, you do get problems when you're trying to reach all the buttons, so whether you're playing like this or that, but if you're holding onto it correctly, as my big hands are, you know, normal size, and you're trying to reach from here, let's say you're playing any normal game, and you're trying to press Y without moving your whole hand, then going from here to there, you will touch the touchpad, and this will, you know, whatever, shake, move the camera, do whatever. That is a problem. That has been a problem since day one. And I've been using this for what? 2 weeks? So I will be honest, the only reason I have bought this is because I am so happy with this, and others that I have tried, that I wanted to try. Maybe there is something that is just so much better here, because Valve knows what they're doing, and this was, I wouldn't say it had high expectations, but it had much expectation like the first one did. And the first one was, I didn't keep it for long, let's just say. The first one I had for a month and then I sold it. This one I still have. But, let's see how long I will have it, because these ones I have had from launch and I have been using this constantly. This is, I think, series came out in, 22 or something? I can't even remember, let me check. No, never mind. Both of these came out in 2020 and excellent. 6 years of use, very nice. I actually checked my previous video on the old Steam controller from 2015, I think it was, and I had exactly the same controllers, PS4 and Xbox One, and I was comparing them still, and I'm comparing them now again. And I do specifically remember I still had the PS4 and the Xbox One, but I ended up using with the PC the Xbox One, because the precision, not only the vibration strength, but the precision of this was in a completely different world. I can't even remember if the first Steam controller had vibration at all. Maybe it was such a small thing, I didn't even mention it in the video. Brilliant. So overall for this category, I would say the ergonomics not as the big problem as the vibration motor, but it's not as good. But let's say, then again, if you're only buying, and I was not, for the touchpads and the extra functionality of the back buttons, it is unquestionably the best choice, and the only choice if you're going for it. And let's say with the extra features, this price point is more than reasonable. Very good price. One more thing about the ergonomics. I was more worried beforehand, more than I am right now, is the fact that when you're playing with this, let's compare to like this one, your hands are much closer to the buttons, let's say, and you're moving left and right, let's say, racing game, you want to move left and right. You get used to this movement pretty easy. It's not natural. This would be much more natural as left and right. But this one, the controller is, the thumb is so much in such a different place compared to the other ones. On the Xbox it's right here, and on the PlayStation it's here. So it's kind of in the middle, so you have to get used to it. But in the end, if you want to turn left and right, you're still going to have this kind of diagonal movement, which is, unnatural. But just for all of them, I would say for this is the most natural movement for left and right as it is, because you're moving your thumb, you're pushing and pulling. Here you are way up here and doing this kind of thing, and here it's kind of this. It's just, if you try it, you will understand. It feels off somehow, but you get used to it. I have not had problems with strain or anything like that with this controller in the past 2 weeks, and I have been using it along with the other ones all this time. And now we come to a controversial, or should I say contradictory topic, and it is the weight. And yes, before you ask, I am in the bathroom. So the PlayStation 5 controller, $279, $295, 20 grams difference, $292. Okay, it was the 20 gram difference between these two. It was actually like 16 grams. So basically, the PlayStation 1 is the lightest, and everybody knows, because the battery is so light, it is so small, and these things die. So you might as well better get a new one when the battery dies anyway. But these are so close together, and the PlayStation controller, the Xbox controller, actually has batteries inside. What are these? IKEA rechargeables. And still, they are the same weight. So basically, I don't know how powerful the battery is in here. It's a rechargeable one. But for me, the heavier one feels lighter in hand than the Xbox One. It is nonsense. It makes no sense to me. This feels heavier. This is the heavier one. It is witchcraft. And as someone who plays the every game basically with a cable attached half of the time because I'm not bothered by recharging the controllers, or sometimes they just take, these things out and just play with a cable attached anyway. So this is the lightest one then, obviously. Actually, I'm not actually sure. I would test. Yes, so the Xbox controller without batteries is like 40 grams, even lighter than the PlayStation one. Obviously, you're not going to play wireless like that, but I have switched to playing wireless. I mean, with wire, with like this, and this feels great. Especially, you have the option to, but then you have the wire, and it's a completely different story. But my base fact is, if this is the heaviest one and feels the lightest, I would still choose this every day of the week. And that's just one of the things that kind of melts my brain when I try to focus on it for too long, because I like using them all. Realistically, let's say I'm using this only for the PlayStation, and this I'm using for PC, and this I can only use for PC. But in the end, when you're just sitting down, you want to play something on PC, you will want to choose one of them. And for now, it's not a completely clear case which one it will be. But still, overall, this category is a positive, and I will give a big positive to the Steam controller for feeling light, even though it is not. Maybe it's the larger footprint. Obviously, it looks like somebody's melted face. It's big. I mean, it is really big. But it feels light, and that is a good sign. And just to emphasize how important, lightness of handheld devices is for me, I still use the S24, although the S25 and 26 have pretty much the same weight. But this compared to like other phones, Pixels, is completely ridiculously low. Not to mention, whatever iPhone is doing with their 200-gram piece of slab metal. This is not acceptable. So the last one, at least in my eyes, was a positive. But now let's check out some that it's kind of some that I do not really care about either way. The back buttons. I have had PlayStation and Xbox controllers of the Pro versions or the special editions that have these back buttons. I have not used them. I do not want to program them. I don't really care. Most likely I have just not realized any reason to actually use them because I'm so stuck in my ways of using the normal Xbox and PlayStation controllers that I just don't want to get into it and get reliant on these things. But, it's good to have them there, I guess. I think the L5 is pre-assigned as the Windows button, so that's nice. The second thing that is kind of I don't care is the fact that it has a battery instead of, rechargeable, replaceable things like the Xbox controller has. Like, if this dies, sure, I will just, use the puck or the cable. I don't care. I'm not going to get a new one. I'm not going to replace the battery somewhere, although it probably can be. The first Steam controller, although did have normal batteries inside, rechargeable, whatever you want. But this one has, the integrated one. So if this dies, it dies. But, I don't really care about that. Next up is the whole puck thing and the magnetic. I don't really care. I don't mind. It's good to have it, I guess. But in the end, the latency with the puck is like 8 milliseconds. That's instant. That's pretty much instant. And with Bluetooth is 37. So that's not a noticeable difference. If it was like 100, 200 milliseconds, I would mind. But in the end, if you're playing with this connected to a laptop and that to a TV or some external monitor or whatever, you're going to have latency as it is. So, it's a nice touch to have it, magnetically connect and, it's something to do, I guess, but it's all right. I can take it or leave it. So the next one is a positive and a big plus, and probably the reason why people would buy the Steam controller in the first place, and that is that thing. You know, Steam takes care of their software and their integration with their hardware and everything. You know, the Steam box, wait, what's it called? Steam machine, which I did not order. But the Steam controller will work with most popular titles out of the box, and that's what you want. You want to sit down after a long day of doing whatever you do and just know that it's going to work. Maybe it's a new game, maybe it's an old game, but there is a big library not of games but of these supported connections with the Steam controller and obviously with other controllers as well. But this one, you know, they're going to take care of it, and the integration will be supreme. Now, as I said in the beginning of the video, there was a problem connecting with Bluetooth, and the Bluetooth sequence is R1, B, and then hold this one until it starts flashing blue, and that's a nice beeping sound. Now, it does show Steam controller. Ooh, it has connected. Yes, so, I mean, it works every 50% of the time, so, but still better now than never. And as I don't really care for having, these are assigned as scrolling buttons. As I was saying about the accidental touches where you try to hold it with one hand, it's impossible. As I said, the whole pack thing is, I can take it or leave it, I don't really care. But I will be using it with Bluetooth most of the time because I don't want to use I don't want to attach some specialty USB. I don't want to hold up one of my ports. I have a laptop. Come on, think about it. I am very limited in accessibility here. Come on. So in conclusion, I'm pretty much a lightweight user when it comes to it. Like, if you're going... Oh, come on! As I said in the beginning of the video, if you're going to buy it, you're going to buy it anyway. The marketing has done its job, and it is exactly what it sets out to be. There is no hidden features. The touchpads work as assigned. You know, Valve is not going to make some faulty product. And the base layout is pretty much the same it has the same buttons as every other controller. You know, you're not going to be missing out on some features. But for me personally, it will be a 50-50 tie between this and the Xbox controller if I'm going to play something on PC, like for example Stalker if it ever finishes rendering. But let's be honest, if I do want to get immersed in the game and feel the shakes going on, I will still use the Xbox controller because of the lacking vibration. But I will be using this for, you know, basic multimedia tools, I guess. Which is not saying much, but, you know, that's just me. Okay, thank you for watching.